Rich, do you feel that the education system is indoctrinating our children to be more feminine? Um, you look at the pronouns that are happening now. People have their pronouns. I did an episode and I said people who use pronouns suffer from a mental illness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a degree of mental illness going on there. And, like, pronouns are just a start of it. You have these kids and that are encouraging kids to change genders. It's just absurd. When I was a kid, if there was a guy walking around wearing women's clothing, it would be mocked. You would point at them and be like, look at that, with their sort of thing. That guy's a little nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You say that today, and I had this conversation with my kid back in the summertime. I pointed out somebody that was clear. Oh, well, you can't say that. That's not right. That's not politically correct. And I had to take my time to correct her and make it clear that no, that over there is mental illness, and parents the authority to parent them in such a way that they feel is fair and reasonable. Schools encourage the use of pronouns. There's a case I saw in the last couple of weeks. There was a woman, I think it was in Florida, that was being sued by the state because she was asking questions about what her child was being taught in school. And imagine that, you have a kid in school and you can't ask what the curriculum is. You can't ask what the school is teaching your kids. I remember when I was a kid, when it came to things like sex ed, there had to be a consent form that went home, where your parents would say, yes, it's totally fine for my child to learn this curriculum. And some parents would have their kids opt out. They wouldn't sit in the classroom, by their own choice. Now schools are just basically saying and doing whatever they want. And you've got schools that are lying to kids. They're using this critical race theory stuff. They're using all these notions, like they're feeding children this idea that if you're white, then you're somehow privileged, or you could perhaps be racist or born racist, because of your skin color. And that just leans into areas of complete absurdity.
It does. It does. And the other thing that they're starting to teach out there in society, and I've really noticed it in the past 7 to 10 years, is the whole toxic masculinity garbage
Right.
that's being pushed. Now, Rich, I don't know what your opinion is on this. Here's my take on this. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. It's masculinity. And those who named it toxic masculinity are feminists and beta men. And I think feminism is what ultimately killed masculinity in the Western world.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Feminism went through several waves. It got to equality. Let's be honest. Like, women have equality in the West. They can do everything a man can do. These notions that women are paid 70 or 80 cents on the dollar for a man, for the same job a man would do, is complete bullshit. They've turned that upside down. Men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs that pay higher wages. Women, take jobs that are usually shorter hours, easier, that don't pay, quite as much. So that's been cast aside. But even though that's the case, feminism, which I believe now, and I start using the term toxic feminism since they like the term toxic masculinity. Let's just play their game. Toxic feminism is no longer about equality. It's gone past that. Now it's about a supremacy movement. It's about the domination and destruction of masculinity, right? The subjugation of males to women. And it's not a good thing. The funny thing is none of these women out there that are straight heterosexual women want anything to do with the weak beta males that they're trying to change men into. They only want to still be with the strong alpha males.
Mm-hmm. They do. And if you don't agree with their narrative, they have another term that they'd like to throw out, which is misogynist. Explain misogyny, Rich.
Women can't even explain misogyny. Like, if a woman uses the term misogyny and then you say, well, can you explain what that is? Like, with a guy like Andrew Tate, he was the guy that was called, toxically masculine, and he's a misogynist. And there's lots of street interviews out there of guys going up to gals on college campuses and saying, okay, well, can you explain what a misogynist then, if a guy like Andrew Tate is a misogynist? And they couldn't. They all just walk away. So they just use these catchy phrases that they think have meaning that will shut you down. And it's actually very easy to deal with, because all you have to do is just say, okay, well, explain what a misogynist is to me. And they can't. They never can. Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rich, and it's simple too. I wouldn't even waste my time in conversation with somebody like that. Because obviously it's not a woman that I'm going to be interested in or attracted to if she's using the word misogynist. So
it's a disqualifier. Absolutely.
Exactly.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.